Hey Gregory, can you hear me?
Oh, okay.
Hey Gregory.
Ja- Nice to see you.
Yeah, nice to see you
Uh,
as well. Yeah.
how was your day today? Oh, it
It
was
was
night.
the night was good. It's just 8 o'clock in the morning now, so the day just got started.
Uh,
But yeah, it's been really nice. I was able to yesterday. I after I finished my classes, I just went to sleep. Actually, I just felt tired, so I went to sleep. Today I have some plans. I want to go to the mall and maybe after I finish my work, maybe do something else. Maybe go to the park or go to the gym. Not sure yet as of right now, but
you rest. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
but you have a lot of classes. I
Uh,
listen. Part of them I listen
yeah, yeah. There are
in the
lessons.
morning.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. I have two in the morning and then two in the evening, and then on the weekends I decided to help some of the other teachers. They have some classes that they need help with, so I'm taking some of their classes too. So yeah, staying busy. Staying busy is good. Yeah,
Yes, I agree with you.
yeah, absolutely. And how's your day so far?
After our conversation, I'm going to work.
Uh-huh.
No, I was working, and after that, I'm going to work. Um in the way with my friend car accumulator go on, so we changed it, and I was working hard. Now I'm home and I need to pick up my daughter from some
Okay,
party.
fantastic. When do you have to
Uh,
pick up your daughter?
After class,
After this class. Okay, great, great. Did you speak to your boss at work today? Was he giving you a lot of pressure to on the project?
yes, I have pressure from my boss, not my directly boss, but highest boss.
Highest boss, yeah. That happens
Uh-huh.
sometimes. I remember when I was working a few months ago, I had some pressure not from my direct boss or my immediate boss, but from people much higher. They wanted to know what is he doing, what's going on. So uh, we all feel that, unfortunately, sometimes it's part of the experience, I guess, part of the pressure. Uh, but it's normal, I
I
guess.
have a lot of experience. I stand against pressure. Don't
Exactly.
worry.
That's great. That's great. Sometimes, yeah, experience helps a lot. Experience helps a lot. Awesome, Gregory. Thanks. Uh, hey, Kwang, how's it going, man? Thank you for your message. Good to see you.
Yes, yeah, yeah. I'm going fine, thank you, teacher. How you been, teacher?
Yeah, I'm
Mm-hmm.
doing well, thanks. I'm doing well. Thank you. Good to
Yeah.
see you. And Orabi, how's it going, Orabi?
Uh, uh, I'm fine, thank you.
Uh-huh. Good to see you. How's
Nice
it?
to have you. Nice to have
Yeah.
you your class.
How was your day, Orabi? What did you do today?
No beginning was just stay at home.
Normal day?
Uh, yes.
Nice, nice. That's great. And Kwang, what about you? Did you do anything interesting today? Anything fun or special? Did you teach? Did you teach martial arts?
Correct, correct. And I teach taekwondo class every day, teacher. Yeah,
Every day. Wow. Are there how are your students doing?
yes, more than 10 students, but I would refer teaching kids. And also have the adult student, but I didn't take a school fee in the
Uh-huh.
adult because when I absent, they can teach the kids. Yeah.
Uh-huh. That's
Yeah, 'cause
awesome.
I'm a mechanic as well. Yes, I have to go to the company. Yes, sometimes I let for the adult teach student. Yeah, yeah. Thank you.
Nice.
Yeah,
No, that's
yeah.
awesome. That's great. I don't know any martial arts, but it's cool when I see somebody who does. So I'm always interested to know how the younger, students, older students. Great, guys. Well, excuse me, guys. Welcome to class. It's nice to have all of you here. I wanted to start off by giving you guys a description of what we're going to be talking about. This class is actually under the new format that we have for Colingo. This class is a high intermediate level class, right? So if by the end of this class you find that some of the conversations that we had or the questions that we asked were difficult, right? Tell me about that. Tell me how you feel, and maybe it might be easier to be in an intermediate level class instead of a high intermediate. What we are asking our students to do is to join the classes that are most appropriate for them, because now we have these descriptions. We have different levels: high beginner, low intermediate, intermediate, high intermediate, right? We want to allow you guys to be in the classes that help you the most, and then when you feel comfortable, move on to the next level, right? So high intermediate, the focus of this class is going to be on the conversation. It's not going to be so much about the grammar, okay? So if you find that you need more grammar help, ask me questions, but also consider maybe taking a intermediate class instead of a high intermediate, right? And let me know if you guys have any questions as we proceed. So to begin, guys, we're going to be talking about modals of obligation, okay? That's the topic for today's class. And when we use modals of obligation, we use words such as have to, or phrases such as have to, must, and should, right? These are the three main words that we're going to be looking at. So to get us thinking about this, to get us thinking about modals of obligation, I wanted to ask you guys a question, right? What is one thing you must do by the end of this week? For me, I can say I must finish my project from my other company by the end of the week. I must finish it. There is no way I can just say, oh, I'll do this next week, or I'll do this some other time. No, I must finish it by the end of this week, right? So Gregory, what is one thing that you must do by the end of this week?
This week I must finish my project because we built a new ship, this tug ship, and all building depend of my work. It's not continuous until I finish my project.
Mm-hmm.
So a very hurry.
So the rest of the company is waiting for you to finish your part.
Not all of my company, but a lot of people waiting.
A lot of people are waiting for you. Okay, so you must finish that project by the end of this week, right?
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. Orabi, what about you? What is one thing you must do by the end of the week?
Actually, I mustn't do any important thing.
That's awesome. So you could say, I must not, or I don't have anything that I must do by the end of the week, right? So for someone in that example, right, I don't have anything that I must do by the end of the week, right? So we will see that we can sometimes use must not, but you can say this is a little bit better. I don't have anything that I must do by the end of the week, right? And Kwang, what about you? What is one thing you must do by the end of the week?
Okay. I must repair the industrial machine before afternoon, tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah, I must.
Because, yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, Kwang. Go ahead. Because of what?
Because we work in the process assembly. Yeah. We need to repair quickly. Yeah.
So you must repair the industrial machine by tomorrow afternoon because you work in the assembly process, right?
Correct.
So if you don't finish your piece, then the next person cannot start his piece, right?
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Awesome. So that's another great example, right? I must repair the industrial machine by tomorrow afternoon, right? So by the end of the week, by tomorrow afternoon, same thing, right? Today is what? Thursday here, Thursday everywhere, I think. Friday, so tomorrow would be the end of the week, right? Fantastic. So when we use these examples, guys, right, when we are talking about these words must and have to and should, right? These modals of obligation are talking about commitments. Commitments in English are, things that you commit to, right? This word commitments, let me write it down here. Commitments. Commitments are things that you commit to. They are things that you have to do. You must finish, right? For example, when you marry somebody, it's a commitment, right? That you will take care of the person, you will help that person, you will live with that person, right? It's a commitment. So things that you must do are commitments, right? So we use these modals of obligation to talk about work and school, goals that you have for yourself, right? Personal goals. I must watch my calories when I eat, right? Because I don't want to gain weight, right? I must exercise every day, 1 hour, I must exercise 1 hour every day. So the word must, we were looking at must before, right? Must is used for a very strong obligation, something that you absolutely cannot disregard. That you must do something, you have to do it, right? Must is the strongest form. So the way we use it, the way we make this verb, or the way we make this construction is very simple. Must plus a verb in the infinitive form, in the base form. I must do something. I must walk to school every day. I must go to work every day. I must eat healthy food every day, right? We don't change the verb. The verb stays the base form. Eat, walk, do, sleep, swim, whatever you want to say, right? So that's how we use must, right? And then the second word that we use, guys, is when we are talking about, when we say have to. That's the second phrase, have to. So must is a very strong obligation. Have to is usually used for daily responsibilities, right? Situations that you come across normally in the day, right? So for example, I think Gregory, you were saying, I need to pick up my daughter after this class, right? I have to pick up my daughter after this class. It's your daily obligation. Your daughter is young, she goes to with her friends, she's outside. You have to go pick her up, right? You have to pick her up from school, pick her up from parties, whatever, right? So daily obligations, not as strong as must, right? Must is very strong if you're talking about something that you must do, right? And then the other example, guys, is when we use should, right? And should is used for when we are talking about responsibilities that are not extremely important, okay? So must is that highest level. Have to is a little bit lower, right? Usually used for daily responsibilities. And then should is used for almost like giving advice. You're giving somebody advice about something, right? Really, it's something. It's pretty basic. So, for example, my friend should go to work on time. So my friend is late for work, right? My friend should go to work on time, right? My friend should take his medicine because he's sick, right? So all of these constructions, guys, right? We don't have a difficult construction, right? Must plus a verb in the infinitive. Should, I'm sorry, have to, right? You say somebody has to, or I have to, right? Plus a verb in the infinitive. I have to go to school, right? We don't have to change the construction at all, right? Same thing with should. Should plus a verb in the infinitive. So very basic construction, but situationally we use them differently. Must versus have to versus should. Do you guys have any questions about that? Sorry, man. Have fun, man. Yeah. Any questions about those three guys?
No.
Okay. What about Arabi and Kwang? You guys have any questions?
No question. Keep going, teacher. Right.
Fantastic. Excuse me, guys. Okay. So then, I wanted to. This is a high intermediate class, right? So we are not going to be worrying about the grammar so much right now, right? I'm going to jump into the article, okay, and then we are going to be looking at when we do the discussion of the article, we're going to use some of these words: must, have to, and should, right? So if you have questions, of course you can ask me anytime, right? But let's focus on the article now, right? So let's take a look at this article. And today the article is actually about food and food regulation. Okay, what does regulation mean, guys?
Order something.
Yeah, when you have an order to something, right, Gregory? So, for example, if you are regulating something, you are managing something. You are responsible for the order of in which things happen, right? You are organizing something almost, right? And in Europe, there is a problem because food, we are all very concerned about food, right? We go to the supermarket or wherever we buy our food. It could be from the supermarket, it could be natural, organic. We want to make sure that food is safe. Now, in many countries, for example, in the United States, Canada, many European countries, they have these regulatory bodies, we say in English, right? An organization that regulates food. Okay, so they control food. They say, for example, they make sure the food is healthy for everybody, the food is safe, the food has no poisons or bad things, right? That's their job. In Europe, we see that there is a regulatory body that is actually made up. So the people who sit on this regulatory body, the people that are doing this work, right, are actually working for some of these food companies. Okay, so for example, if I am the manager of a very large food company, right, and I'm also on the regulatory board, right? I'm on the regulatory board that is deciding what food is good, what food is bad, right? It's not a good situation because the people who are on the board should be fair, right? If I'm making millions of dollars a year from my own company, that might affect how I do my job on the board, right? And this is what we call a conflict of interest in English, right? If somebody says this is a conflict of interest, right? I'll give you another example. Let's say you are, let's say your spouse is has made a serious mistake, right? They got in trouble. Maybe they had an accident on the road, and somebody got hurt, right? So the court will not ask you to be at the court for your spouse's sentencing, right? It's not going to happen because you have a conflict of interest. Are you going to support your husband or your wife? Of course, right? When we decide things, we don't want people who have conflicts of interest. We want people who are impartial. In English, we say impartial. People who have people who don't favor one side over the other, right? I don't care. I don't know you. I don't know your wife. I can make the decision. If I know one of you, oh, I'm very good friends with Gregory, right? I don't want his wife to go to jail, right? I'm going to work to help him, but it might not be fair, right? So this is the big question at the heart of this article, guys. So we're going to take a look at these food bodies, regulatory bodies, right? Any questions, guys, about what I just said? I just wanted to give an introduction. Does it make sense, guys?
Yep.
So it does. So your voice is super low. It was super low before. Okay, now it's good. How are you, by the way? Good to see you.
I'm good.
Good, awesome. Okay, so let's look at these regulatory bodies, guys. What's going on in Europe, right? So I'm going to screen share real quick. You guys have the article, right? Okay, fantastic. Let's see. So scientists' ties to food industry, right, raise questions in Europe. Okay, so what do we mean by ties here? Do you think, guys? What is a tie to somebody or something?
Relationships.
Exactly, exactly, right? So the scientists' relationships to the food industry raise questions in Europe, right? So let's see. One scientist who advised Europe's food safety regulators about animal feed additives sits on the board of a foundation backed by the dairy industry, right? It's a complicated sentence. I'll explain it to you guys. So one of the scientists who is working on organizing the food that animals eat, right, in their farms, for example, is also part of a foundation that gets money from the dairy industry. So the dairy industry is the industry that, cows and milk and cheese and all that stuff, that's the dairy industry. So this scientist works for the dairy industry and also works for the group that decides what the animals should eat, what the cows should eat, right? Another, who gave advice on food contaminants, received research support from lobbyists for the American and European chemical industries, right? So there was another scientist who his job was to say, this is bad for the food, this is good for the food, right? So contaminants, a contaminant is something that contaminates, that makes something dirty, right? So food contaminants are things that make food dirty, right? And he has received support from lobbies. Lobbies are, special groups that have a lot of money. They go to politicians and they say, Obama, do this, or, Netanyahu, do this, or whatever, right? Lobbyists, very powerful people. So this guy received money from lobbyists, but he's working for food company, or he's working to decide what is safe for food and what is not safe for food, right? A third scientist who headed an advisory panel on nutrition and dietetic products, right? So same thing, he works with food, right? This other scientist presided for years over the management board of an industry-backed research group, okay? So a little bit complicated, guys, but he also presided means to be the president of, someone who's a president presides over something. So he was the leader of a group that was that received money from another research group, right? That is backed by the industry, different kinds of industries, right? Different lobbies. Maybe all the chemical people have a lobby, all the cow people have a lobby, the cheese people have a lobby, right? It's a difficult situation. Any questions, guys, about these first 3 paragraphs? What we're saying about these scientists?
No questions.
No questions? Okay. If you guys have other questions, Orabi and Kwang and Soso, let us know, okay? Nearly 60% of the scientists used as consultants by the European Food Safety Authority, or EFSA, have direct or indirect ties to industries that are regulated by that agency, right? According to this report, blah, blah, blah. So nearly 60% of the scientists that are making the decisions about food safety in Europe, they have ties, relationships to industries, different kinds of industries, right? This authority oversees food safety in the 28-nation European Union, which is similar to the Food and Drug Administration in the United States, or at least the food part of it. So in the United States, we have a big organization called the FDA, the Food and Drug Administration, which regulates, organizes all the food and drug in this country. I cannot eat anything in the US unless the Food and Drug Administration says, okay, you can eat it, this is safe, right? So this organization in Europe does the same thing, right? They regulate the food. While the European agency has long been assailed as relying on scientists with perceived conflicts of interest, it says it has taken steps to address this issue, right? What is this word assail, guys? It's a tough word. I can explain it to you guys if you guys need help, but what do you think this word means? The European agency has long been means has for a long time been assailed as relying. Yes, exactly, Gregory. Fantastic. It's been attacked for many years because people are saying you're using these scientists that have these other connections. Why are you using these people? You should use people who have no conflict of interest, right? But so the consumers, people, the citizens, say that those steps have not gone far enough, right? Every time this comes up, the EFSA says, oh, we are going to fix it. We have steps, right? It has taken steps. But those steps have not gone far enough, right? Everyone eating food in Europe is affected by its decisions, said the report, right? A much clearer, simpler, and stricter independence policy needs to be set up and rigorously implemented, right? So this is what the report is saying, the French newspaper Le Monde, right? A much clearer, simpler, and stricter independence policy needs to be set up and rigorously implemented. What does rigorously mean, guys? This word right here. If you do something rigorously.
Very strong.
Yeah, with a lot of force, right? You're doing something very strong. You have to be very, you're not doing it just, oh, okay, I'll do it. No, you're paying a lot of attention to it, right? So they need to pay attention to this, is what this newspaper is saying, right? Okay, so this agency, right? After all this stuff was published, the agency said, the EFSA said, opinions are the outcome of collective deliberations, with each expert having an equal say. So this EFSA said, this report is incorrect because one person cannot make a decision. The opinions that we release as the regulatory board come from collective deliberation. What does collective mean, do you guys think? If we have a
Working
collective,
together, not a decision on one person, but
making it
decision
together.
of a group of persons.
Absolutely, absolutely. Collective deliberations, right? So deliberating is to argue about something or to discuss something. Collective discussion, right? We are all working as a group. Not one person isn't making the decision, right? So this report is incorrect, is what the EFSA is saying. No one expert, right, can unduly influence the decisions of the panel. So unduly means, without responsibility, right? No one expert can influence the decisions. Everybody talks together, right? So, and then blah, 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 blah. I'm not going to care. So this one right here, part of the challenge for the European agency is that they lack the size of their American counterparts and thus do less of their work in the House. So we were comparing the FDA with the EFSA, right? EFSA just doesn't have the money and the size that the FDA does. The FDA is huge, right? EFSA just doesn't have that many scientists, right? So the Food and Drug Administration, this is the one in the United States, the FDA, has more than 14,000 employees, right? It roughly overlaps with both the European Food Safety Agency and the European Medicines Agency. So both these are two organizations in Europe. Together, they only have 1,200 employees. Together, America has 14,000 employees for just one organization, right? Tons of people that are working on food and drugs, right? The European agencies also have narrower responsibilities and rely more on outside researchers and the patchwork of regulators in member countries. So if they have less responsibilities, right? What does narrow mean, guys? If something is narrow as opposed to being wide, what's something narrow?
It is the opposite with why.
Yeah, it's the opposite of wide, exactly, right? It's opposite. So it's not large, it's skinny. Like it's not fat, it's skinny, right? Narrower responsibilities, not as many responsibilities. In the case of responsibilities, narrow means less, right? Great job, Kwang. So it has less responsibilities, right? We can't compare America with Europe because America has tons of people, 14,000 people working for this company, working for this agency. Europe has just over 1,000, right? 10 times, America has more than 10 times as many, right? So let me this is pretty long. Blah, 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 blah. All right. Generally, I think we get the idea, guys, generally, right? I wanted to see if there were, so we see the discussion from the agency and we see the discussion from the other side of the aisle, right? We see the discussion from the consumers, the citizens that are eating this food, right? What do you guys think about this? Let me start with Soso. Soso, what's your initial reaction to this article when it comes to? Do you think there's a conflict of interest, or do you believe that this organization is doing what they can? I mean, they have to use other scientists. They only have 1,000 employees. What do you think?
The first thing, absolutely, they have a conflict of interest. That's what I was trying to remember it. Because, for example, here we are in Arabic idiom here. You cannot hold a watermelon, two watermelon in your hand. So you're gonna do
Uh-huh.
2 jobs.
Wow.
One will take that.
Yeah, it takes two hands to hold a watermelon, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I've heard that phrase before also. We say it in Iran actually. There's a similar phrase. Maybe it's all over the Middle East, right? It takes two hands to hold a watermelon, right? So you can't say, "Oh, I'm working for the milk company, and I'm also saying which milk is safe, which milk is not safe," right? So that makes sense. And then
Mm.
what about the second thing? So do you believe that their excuse that, oh, we only have 1,000 employees, we cannot we're not as large as the US, we can't hire that many people, we have to use these scientists that are coming from different, maybe from different lobbies, from different companies. What do you say to that?
I think they have a point here, but they also didn't. They also didn't have only depend on these scientists.
So what should they do? What do you think they should do?
Hire an outside scientist.
So just keep hiring more people?
Yes.
And hiring scientists without conflicts of interest, right?
Yeah, with both sides.
With both sides. Okay, yeah, yeah. I think that's a good idea. That's good. Kwang, what do you think about the article? Do you think there's conflict of interest, or what would you do to? I mean, do you believe them when they say, "Oh, we don't have enough scientists"? What's your take on this?
Yes, I think the European they have they are abundant of employee. They can happen conflict of interest. So we should cut down on the employee to work for the safe food. Yes,
And
and
how do
yes,
you think how do you think they should do that? So we heard from Soso that they should hire more scientists, right? They should hire more scientists who are from, different areas, both sides, we don't need scientists to be, if we're talking about milk, the scientists should not be coming from a company that sells milk, you know. What kinds of options should they take? I mean, should they choose when they are thinking about this solution? Should they just hire more people, Kwang, or maybe do something else? Maybe you have an idea.
Scientists. I think we should create many scientists because it would help we create the safe food and they research and they can have the people to know more about the processed food, the fast food,
Hmm.
and yeah, to create the new method for people eat healthy. Yeah, it is
Yeah, it's
very good.
important. It's important, right? I think even when it comes to fast food, like you mentioned, we don't have enough knowledge about fast food. There are scientists that work from I mean, there are scientists who are working on fast food. How do we make fast food healthy? How do we do this and that? But what if one of them works for McDonald's? I mean, many of these people, some of the very, very famous scientists, right? If you look at their background, they worked for some big companies in the past, right? So maybe a scientist who now specializes in fast food, that's his specialty. He knows everything about fast food. Maybe he's being paid by McDonald's to say, oh, when you see a decision, say McDonald's is better. Just a little bit more than Burger King because we hate Burger King, right? So just say McDonald's is a little bit better, right? These scientists, I mean, it's difficult for me to think how they would know if a scientist has a conflict of interest, right? We can do recruitment, we can recruit, we can hire more people, but it might be difficult to understand what the person's background is, right? Maybe they have an interest that you can't find, maybe they have a secret relationship with a group, right? So we'll talk about that, Kwang, but those are some great points. Orabi, what do you think about this? About the idea of conflict of interest in food regulation?
Yes, I think maybe the European should communicate with the Americans and uh, have a good relations and maybe know about a good ways of industry food,
Hmm.
not to affect their interests.
Yeah, exactly, right. So, yeah, go ahead, Orabi. Keep going. Yeah.
Yes, and the people are concerned about the food industry. Yes, they have the right to concern about food. It is a very important issue because if they had maybe unhealthy food, there will be a big problem.
Yeah,
So scientists should pay a big attention to this issue.
hmm Absolutely, absolutely. And what about, so I liked how you mentioned, Orabi, that the Europeans should maybe work with the Americans, because I think when it comes to food regulation, America has a good system. We don't, there's a lot of food in this country, a lot of food that we waste, unfortunately, but a lot of food that we make and send to other countries. And they are regulating this entire, huge country's food, right? So Europe is much smaller. Europe is not as many people, not as large an area, so they can get help from us when it comes to food regulation. But what is your opinion of the lobbies also, Robbie? Do you think these lobby groups, like the McDonald's lobby, let's say, right? They have these very powerful men with a lot of money. They go to politicians and scientists and they say, McDonald's is much better than Burger King, much better than any other fast food, right? Are the lobbies something that's dangerous for scientists when we have?
Yes, I think yeah, because they have the money, so they have the power
Yeah,
and have control over the government to 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 do rules policies suitable for their maybe their interests. But
yeah,
maybe the government can find another way to make policies, practical policies for these companies like McDonald's.
yeah.
I don't know maybe how, but people should maybe should like protest against these companies.
Okay. Well, Robert, you're actually breaking up a little bit. Your sound was changing. I couldn't hear that last part. It was like it was not clear. But we'll come back, Orabi. We'll come back. I really liked your points about some of those things that you said. I think the lobbies are very dangerous. In the U.S. we have a lot of lobbies. Okay, so these lobby groups, right? They have the lobbies, and we have people that are in them are called lobbyists, right? All that's their job is to just influence politicians, scientists, doctors, anybody with power, right? Influence them, get them on your side, right? Give them money, whatever. And some of their, in English, we actually, in the US, we call them, some of them are called special interest groups, right? They're called special interest groups. They have special interests. Maybe they work for the, maybe they work for the military industry, right? They want to sell more weapons. Always about selling weapons. Another group is always about selling, genetically modified food, right? Big companies, billions of dollars, they want to influence people. What about you, Gregory? What do you think about all of this? The food safety, conflicts of interest, what do you think it should be the solution? Gregory, are you there? I think you're muted, actually.
Sorry, I have phone. Just a moment. Okay.
Sure, no problems.
About this, once I with my daughter come to doctor and she eat cookies. And doctor said, "What is it?" I said, "It's cookies." And doctor say, "Give me that. You see what right there. And it's small letters. I don't understand it. So she said it's not for children. It was this food like chips, bamba, beastly, you know.
Yeah.
It's poison children.
No way.
Yeah, he says it, and I asked him, "Is it so terrible?" He said, "Yes, it's a chemical war," and I believe him. So I all time I ask myself how it is possible. And now I understand how it is possible. Thank you.
Well, you're welcome. You're welcome. I don't know if it's different in Israel, honestly, Gregory, but I think every country has these lobby groups, right? They have these interest groups, and I mean, you bring up a great point, Gregory, because have you guys ever noticed what's on the back of something that is commercially bought? Like, let me give you an example, guys. This is some Korean chocolate I have right here. Okay, my friend got this yesterday. I have no idea what's inside. I don't eat this garbage, right? But okay, on the back I can't read it because it's Korean, right? But let me read the English. Maybe it has English in it. Okay. Ingredients, it says artificial flavor. Okay, what does that mean? Artificial flavor, right? It's not even telling me what it has inside. It says vegetable oil, lactose, cocoa cookie, cocoa powder, butter, salt, yeast, cream, soy. I mean, some of these things I have no idea, right? This is a cookie, Gregory, right? It's a children's cookie, you know. I mean, but we eat it because we can't cook, right? So we eat this garbage, right? And it's something that people don't even know what they're eating anymore, you know. And they're selling this stuff in the supermarket, and kids are buying this stuff, right? When they say on the back of a label, they say on the back of a food, they say, and other natural ingredients. What does that mean, right? They're not giving any descriptions about that. And other natural ingredients. It could be something poisonous. Lots of poisons are made in nature, right? It could be so many different things, Gregory. I mean, don't you think this is the case? Gregory, what do you think?
My friend say once is pure pure chemia,
What does that mean?
pure clean chemia, no, only chemia.
Oh, wait, what's Heener? I'm sorry, Greg. I don't understand.
Chemical, no,
Oh, okay, okay. Chemicals, yeah. So it's just
chemical.
these are all chemicals inside these things. We see just chemicals, right?
Nothing natural.
Nothing natural, yeah. All chemicals, right? Everything artificial. So when we say artificial, guys, right? The word artificial means not natural. You know, man-made. It means man-made. Something that's artificial is man-made, right? On the back of this thing, they're saying artificial flavor. Okay, so man-made flavor, right? What flavor? This is supposed to be chocolate, right? Chocolate and vanilla. I mean, so can you read this? You read Korean. Do you read Korean? Can you read this?
I'm not that good.
You do like these? You like these?
No, no, no.
Oh, okay. I have never had it before in my life, but it's crazy stuff, right? I mean, so Gregory, how should they fix this problem? What should they do with these
Nothing.
regulators? With these regulators,
Nothing. We can do nothing. So interest group, special interest group, who we are against this group and his money.
yeah, money is really the big reason, right? Money is the biggest
Yeah,
reason.
yeah. We can change public opinion, but stay stronger there.
hmm But I mean, do you like the idea we heard before from Soso? Maybe they should hire more people. Kwang said they should be looking at maybe other types of industries, right? And then Orabi said maybe get help from the United States. Do you think any of those would help?
I think we make protest, not eat it.
Oh, that's a good idea, right? So you can boycott something, right?
Boycott
Yeah, you
to
can
this
boycott
product.
something. But then what would you eat then, Gregory?
Something natural.
something
bread
natural.
bread, for example, meat, potatoes.
All the natural food, right? But
Yeah.
even bread you have to make from scratch because the bread that you buy in the store also has artificial stuff inside, at least in the United States, right?
Mm.
So, for example, I was having a sandwich today. I didn't read the back, but I know there were things in there that I didn't know. Even if you buy a 100% whole wheat bread, which is what I eat, right? I mean, it's from the ground, organic food. Even that has corn syrup inside, right? How do you get corn syrup in bread? I mean, I don't know, maybe because I can't cook, right? I have no idea how you use that stuff. But bread, I thought you just dough and you bake it and it's bread, right? But they have all of these different considerations now. It's a very difficult thing. I was going to ask you guys also, do you think European people should be or must find out about this information, or what should they do after they hear this? So, Gregory, sounds like you're saying that they should boycott these
Sorry?
foods. I think maybe you're saying that maybe the European people should boycott this food. Is that
Maybe.
is that a good idea? Maybe. Okay. Uh,
But it's hard. Adult people, yes, but say working on children, say making it's fine and smell good, and it's tasty. So children very like this food, and you explain to child it's not good for you, but he's not understand. And other kids eat his food, so it's not working.
yeah, and I think that's such a good point. The marketing that they do to children is so powerful. If you go to a supermarket, right? What did they have? I actually read a story about this. When you are in the cash register near the cashier, you're about to pay for the food. Did you guys ever notice? It's the case in the US. They have all the gum and all the candy right next to the cashier, right? As you are about to pay, yeah, right, So, Kwang, I'm sure you've seen
Yes,
this maybe
I
also.
always pick something.
Yeah, you always grab something from there, right? Because they know that if you are waiting in line, you are more likely to grab something. Oh, look at this, 100% chocolate. Oh, okay, great, beautiful, right? Sugar, Snickers bar, candy, this crap. They sell all of that right near the cashier, right? And the kids, what do? They can't wait to leave the store. I want this one, I want that one, right? They're waiting in line, and they're gonna drive their parents crazy, right? Parents will go crazy. Okay, fine, I'll buy it for you. Stop crying, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, so they know their strategy, right? They know the strategy. They put all of these foods, the chocolates, the cookies, the biscuits, whatever you want to call them, right next to the cashier as you're paying, right? The gum, the candy, the all the sugar foods, right? And kids love that stuff. I mean, and they use the colorful packaging. This is a panda, right? Look at how cute this panda is, right? How can you not buy this? It's a baby panda, right? Marketing, guys, right? It's crazy. Kwan, what do you think about this new strategy? Or should they boycott? Should they boycott these products? Is it possible to boycott these products?
Yeah, I think they'll boycott the processed food or fast food. It's very it's harmful to our health.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the other thing, the sweets or candy, they have a lot of sugar inside. Some fat people, they cannot use a lot of cholesterol or high sugar in their body. And the most important, that fast food or processed food contain a lot of harmful cholesterol. For
Mm-hmm.
example, for example, you and I, if we want to keep healthy, we shouldn't eat processed food or
Yeah.
sweet. I think so. We should
Yes.
eat vegetable fruit, and to increase the to increase vitamin for body keep working. Okay, I think so, teacher.
Yeah, vitamins, good things like that. Vitamins, keeping your body healthy, avoiding cholesterol, avoiding what are the other things? Like you said, sugar, sweets, right? Kwang. I mean, all of those things, I don't know how we're going to fight this fight. Is it possible to fight this fight? I mean, I don't buy any of this stuff, so it doesn't really concern me, but I know people are buying this stuff all the time. My parents buy this my parents buy it when they go to somebody's home, like they go to somebody's house where they have little children. They usually take a nice box of chocolates or something for the children, right? So it's something that has become normal even. You
Yeah,
take,
correct. Yeah.
yeah, you take
Correct.
you take chocolates for kids, right? But I mean,
Correct. Yeah.
what do we do? I mean,
And
it's
yeah,
kind of,
my children are attracted by a lot of sweets because the cashier show a lot of sweets,
yeah.
and when I have the full money, some spare money, they only give back me spare money. They only give back uh, sweets instead of spare money. Yeah.
Oh, wow, wow. Yeah, because they know you have children, so they just give you some sweets to share with your children, right? I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's not bad, guys. I'm not saying this stuff will kill you, right? I mean, I'm just saying that the market is so huge, right? That they have such power, and we see these lobbyists, I mean, it's difficult for change to happen because they are so powerful. They have so much money, right? So do you think there's any other possibilities? Do you agree with the boycotting approach, or should it be education? How do we, minimize the power of the lobbies or these groups that have these conflicts of interest?
I think it will be a very hard battle to win. It's going to be very hard.
Yeah. I mean, do you think boycotting would work, or would it not work?
If all people come together and boycott it, then it will work.
Yeah, but if only some people are doing it, then it's not going to matter, right?
Yeah, it's not going
Yeah,
to make any difference.
it's not going to make any difference. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know, guys. I mean, when I think about this stuff, I don't think about this stuff honestly, but when I start to see what's happening, it's not good. I mean, what about like in Israel, Gregory? Do you guys have your own regulatory body for food and medicine? Is there an organization that controls all the food in Israel?
Sure, sure we have, but I not no, I don't know.
What it's called or what they do really? It's not.
Yes,
Yeah, Israel's a small country, so maybe it's not that large. All of Europe has just 1,000 people. America, because we're crazy, we have 14,000, right, working in Washington, D.C., different labs.
sure we have organization and consumer association,
Hmm.
but exactly I don't know.
Yeah, it's maybe the similar problem agrees or exists in other places, guys. Vietnam, how's Vietnam, Quang? I mean, do they have similar situation with the food, or is it? I think Vietnam has more natural choices. I think because I feel maybe the country is still more, you know, believes more in natural health and agriculture and those kinds of things. Like India, only in the big cities they have fast food. In the villages and in the small cities, it's not really that popular. So people are mostly eating healthy food. But what's it like in Vietnam, Quang? Is it different?
Yes, in my country, people prefer eating healthy food, but now a lot of fast food from USA import in my country.
Yeah,
You know that? Yeah, and my kids like that. Yeah, but
yeah. Kids
I
love
don't
that
allow.
stuff.
Yeah, yeah, yes. I don't allow
Kids
them
love
to eat
chocolate.
it. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Fast
yeah,
food, chocolate, all that kind of
yeah.
stuff, right? Sugar and sweet and salt, and the three big S's, right? And what about in Saudi? So, do you know about any regulatory body? Has anyone talked about this kind of stuff in Saudi society before? I'm just curious to
Hmm.
know. I don't
I
know.
really don't know. I have no
Yeah,
idea.
yeah. I know they control meat. Like they have meat regulatory bodies and things like that, but I don't know about like processed food, like artificial food, fast food, and stuff like that. Interesting, guys. Well, uh, I liked how I liked how we used these examples, guys. I want to just quickly review. So during the article, we used must. When we were talking about the article, we used must, right? Must is that strongest form of obligation, right? I must do something, right? There's no way I can skip it or not do it. I must do it, right? Then we had have to, right? And have to is used mainly for regular obligations, daily obligations. I have to wake up at 6 in the morning to go to work, right? I have to pick up my daughter from school. I have to prepare dinner with my wife, whatever, right? So those are have tos, daily activities, really. And then should is even less of a daily activity. It's really more like, I should do something. It's a recommendation. You should help your sister when she cannot finish her homework, right? You should wear a jacket when it's raining outside, right? Recommendations, much less strong than something like must, right? Must is a very strong example. So wanted to just ask you guys from the article or from the discussion, did you guys have any additional questions about anything, the grammar, what we talked about, any of the vocabulary that maybe you weren't sure about? That's always good to know. So Gregory?
No, thank you very much. I have to go.
Awesome, Gregory. Well, it's good to see you again. I'll catch you around later.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye. And so any questions from you?
The last word, boycott.
Boycott, fantastic. So
Boycott.
yeah,
What can I say?
boycott.
Boycott.
Boycott, right? A boycott is when you refuse to buy something, right? When you refuse to buy something. So, for example, many of the Muslim countries, they boycott goods from Israel, right? They don't buy anything from Israel, right? There was a movement in the United States where we boycotted some goods from China for some time. Some people boycotted the goods from China, or people boycott products from certain companies because those companies they have bad practices. For example, like Nike and some of these other companies, they're using child labor in Asia, right? They're using young children to make their shoes. Some people hate that and they boycott all Nike products. They don't buy anything from Nike, right? So it's when you refuse to buy something.
Okay.
Yeah. Any other questions?
No, thanks.
Awesome. Yeah. Did you like the class?
Yes.
Cool. Awesome. You can't read any of this, right?
No.
Okay. Yeah. My sister could read it. I don't know how to read it, so I was using it as an example because it's just next to where I'm sitting right now. But awesome. Well, have a great rest of the day. See you later.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. And Orabi, how's it going, Orabi?
I'm fine, thank you.
Good to see you. How's
Nice
it?
to have you. Nice to have your class.
How was your day, Orabi? What did you do today?
No beginning was just stay at home.
Normal day?
Yes.
Nice. That's great. And Kwan, what about you? Did you do anything interesting today? Anything fun or special? Did you teach? Did you teach martial arts?
Correct. And I teach the taekwondo class every day, teacher. Yeah.
Every day. Wow. Are there how are your students doing?
Yes, more than 10 students, but I would prefer teaching kids. And also have the adult student, but I didn't take a school fee the adult because when I absent, they can teach the kids. Yeah.
That's awesome.
I'm a mechanic as well. Yes, I have to go to the company. Yes. Sometimes I left for the adult teach student. Yeah.
Nice. No, that's awesome. That's great. I don't know any martial arts, but it's cool when I see somebody who does. So I'm always interested to know how do younger, students, older students. Great, guys. Well, excuse me, guys. Welcome to class. It's nice to have all of you here. I wanted to start off by giving you guys a description of what we're going to be talking about. This class is actually under the new format that we have for culture.
And after that, I'm going to work. The way with my friend car accumulator go on. So we changed it, and I was working hard. Now I'm home, and I need to pick up my daughter from some
Okay,
party
fantastic. When do you have to
uh,
pick up your daughter?
after class.
After this class. Okay, great, great. Did you speak to your boss at work today? Was he giving you a lot of pressure to on the project?
Yes, I have pressure from my boss, not my directly boss, but highest boss.
Highest boss, yeah. That happens
Uh-huh.
sometimes. I remember when I was working a few months ago, I had some pressure not from my direct boss or my immediate boss, but from people much higher. They wanted to know what is he doing, what's going on. So uh, we all feel that, unfortunately, sometimes it's part of the experience, I guess, part of the pressure. Uh, but it's normal, I
I
guess.
have a lot of experience. I stand against pressure. Don't
Exactly.
worry.
That's great. That's great. Sometimes, yeah, experience helps a lot. Experience helps a lot. Awesome, Gregory. Thanks. Uh, hey, Kwang, how's it going, man? Thank you for your message. Good to see you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm going fine, thank you, teacher. How you been, teacher?
Yeah, I'm
Mm-hmm.
doing well, thanks. I'm doing well. Thank you. Good to
Yeah.
see you. For me, I can say I must finish my project from my other company by the end of the week. I must finish it. There is no way I can just say, "Oh, I'll do this next week," or "I'll do this some other time." No, I must finish it by the end of this week, right? So, Gregory, what is one thing that you must do by the end of this week?
This week I must finish my project because we built a new ship, this tug ship, and all building depend of my work. It's not continuous until I finish my project.
Hmm.
So I very hurry.
So the rest of the company is waiting for you to finish your part.
Not all of my company, but a lot of people
A
waiting
lot of
for me.
people are waiting for you. Okay, so you must finish that project by the end of this week, right?
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. Orabi, what about you? What is one thing you must do by the end of the week?
Um, Actually, I mustn't do any important thing.
That's awesome. So you could say, I must not, or I don't have anything that I must do by the end of the week, right?
Mhm.
So for someone in that example, right, I don't have anything that I must do by the end of the week, right? So we will see that we can sometimes use must not, but you can say this is a little bit better. I don't have anything lingo. This class is a high intermediate level class, right? So if by the end of this class you find that some of the conversations that we had or the questions that we asked were difficult, right? Tell me about that. Tell me how you feel, and maybe it might be easier to be in an intermediate level class instead of a high intermediate. What we are asking our students to do is to join the classes that are most appropriate for them, because now we have these descriptions. We have different levels: high beginner, low intermediate, intermediate, high intermediate, right? We want to allow you guys to be in the classes that help you the most, and then when you feel comfortable, move on to the next level, right? So high intermediate, the focus of this class is going to be on the conversation. It's not going to be so much about the grammar, okay? So if you find that you need more grammar help, ask me questions, but also consider maybe taking a intermediate class instead of a high intermediate, right? And let me know if you guys have any questions as we proceed. So to begin, guys, we're going to be talking about modals of obligation, okay? That's the topic for today's class. And when we use modals of obligation, we use words such as have to, or phrases such as have to, must, and should, right? These are the three main words that we're going to be looking at. So to get us thinking about this, to get us thinking about modals of obligation, I wanted to ask you guys a question, right? What is one thing you must do by the end of this week? Hey, Gregory. Can you hear me?
Oh, okay.
Hey, Gregory.
Ja- Nice to see you.
Yeah, nice to see you as
Uh,
well. Yeah.
how was your day today? Oh, it
It
was
was
night.
the night was good. It's just 8 o'clock in the morning now, so the day just got started.
Oh,
But yeah, it's been really nice. I was able to yesterday. I after I finished my classes, I just went to sleep. Actually, I just felt tired, so I went to sleep. Today I have some plans. I want to go to the mall and maybe after I finish my work, maybe do something else. Maybe go to the park or go to the gym. Not sure yet as of right now, but
you rest. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
but you have a lot of classes. I
Uh,
listen. Part of them I listen
yeah, yeah. There are
in the
lessons that,
morning.
yeah, exactly, exactly. I have two in the morning and then two in the evening, and then on the weekends I decided to help some of the other teachers. They have some classes that they need help with, so I'm taking some of their classes too. So yeah, staying busy. Staying busy is good. Yeah,
Yes, I agree with you.
yeah, absolutely. And how's your day so far?
After our conversation, I'm going to work.
Uh-huh.
No, I was walking.